Welcome to Forrest.Chat SoapBox. Today we're talking with the candidate for City of Busselton, Stephen Spelman. Welcome to Forrest.Chat SoapBox, Stephen.
Hi there, good afternoon, and thank you for taking the time to give me an opportunity to have a conversation with you. So yeah, greetings.
Great to have you here, and very happy to be able to provide you with an opportunity to talk to people about what you stand for and what you hope to achieve with being on council, Stephen.
Very kind of you.
So the first question, or the first thing we'll do, Stephen, is we'll have a look at your elevator pitch. When you're talking to people about running for council, what are you telling them?
Well, I just want to explain how we're here, how we came to be here. So, like many others, our journey to this beautiful part of the Southwest began with a holiday many years ago. So I think it was 2008, possibly 2007, 2008. We came on a holiday. Instantly fell in love. We spent a few nights in Perth, came down here for the remainder of our holiday, and fell instantly in love with the natural beauty of this region and the incredible sense of community. The people that I met and spoke to while even just being here on holidays. So went back to my wife and said, I've fallen in love. I think we should consider moving here. So we took a leap of faith, and we ended up applying for our visas, and then we arrived with just our suitcases, and spent a couple of days in Perth, and then made our way down here and started. And 16 years later, this is now truly our home. We've raised our family here. We've built local businesses, and we've contributed to the community and continue to do so. And also, because I understand and I know how challenging it is to integrate into a new place, I've deep empathy with those who've recently chosen to call the Southwest their home. And I respect and value the contributions of long-term locals who built this region as we know it to what it is today. So my reason for putting forward for the council is to consider that my role would be to listen carefully, to speak up for the community when needed, and to bring people together to create a strong and sustainable future for our community.
So you've got a good bit of background in making things happen in the community if you've been setting up and running businesses.
Yes. So, I mean, as a local business, I understand what local businesses go through and potentially do need to go through, and the challenges that we face. I also do remember when we initially came here, the challenges of maintaining a local business also affected me in the days when technology wasn't as strong as it is today to hold a business together. That I found myself part of the FIFO. So I spent time flying in, flying out of Perth initially, and then when the flights came to Busselton, expressed the joy at being so close to being home, and like a 20-minute drive from the house to the airport. So I've seen how the growth has been very positive, both to local businesses and those that choose to live down here but work away.
Fantastic. We'll move on to the next question then, Stephen. So what led you to choose to become a candidate?
I'm very passionate about our community. The region is growing very quickly. I have an empathetic ear for and will be listening to the local community. And also, I'm unafraid to speak out when necessary.
So you saw the opportunity with the council elections coming up, and this is your first time having a go?
Yes, yeah. It's not the, oh yes, it's the first time I've actually made that final step forward. I've thought about it for years, and weighed up whether or not my commitment to the council would have continuity. And the previous times that I decided not to go through because I felt that, like family, our businesses, my role in the FIFO world, wouldn't allow me to be able to put continuity to running as a candidate. And this time I felt very heart driven to put my hand up and put my hat in the ring, to be there for the community. So to answer the call from the community around the key concerns that they have. One being housing affordability, supporting businesses locally, and supporting the community concerns. For instance, the concerns around the dog beach proposals, and other concerns with regard to the quality of the water in the Bass area and the geo catchment area. So supporting those groups, and the groups for with regard to rates and the dog beaches, and to be able to listen to them and ensure that they have a voice conduit, like a voice conduit through to the council.
So you want to make sure that they've all got an opportunity to have their views expressed at the council and to come through in the council's decisions.
Yes, I mean the role of the council is there for the community, for the residents. I understand that the council take guidance from both within the staffing, so the official side, and then also to balance that with the concerns and requirements of the community itself, the community residents, the people. So we're voted in by the people, so therefore we should represent the people.
That definitely is how it's supposed to happen. That's why it's an election process, isn't it? So
yes, a democracy, an opportunity for, if you wish to make change, at this point, there's two ways to make the change. You can be in the ring to make the change from within, or as a voter, you can vote for those people that are aligned to making those changes, or to support existing parts of the agenda that are presented. And it's also I think the role of a councillor to understand the agenda and understand the requirements. Like there's a lot of, it'll be both positive and negative coming from the community, and it's having that balance of understanding both sides of the argument.
Well, that sounds like a great point to move on to the next question. What makes you a great candidate, Stephen?
Again, just going back with regard to like some things that I said before, that I have an empathetic ear. I do see, with regards to both newspapers, conversations in passing, social media, seeing the concerns that the community have, having an empathetic ear to the concerns that they have. So that means, you know, listening, and then not afraid to speak out when necessary. So, and to speak out for the both the positive and the negative that it will be brought forward, and to understand and to ensure that both sides are listened to and are given the opportunity to be listened to, so that when the decisions are made, they are not one-sided.
So you anticipate you'll bring a confident balance to the equation.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. And do you have any experience in the financial management side of things? One of the things about council is it does tend to be like budget related, and every time you've got a budget, there's good and bad. There's, you know, things that you're going to spend money on and things you don't have enough money to spend on.
Yes. Yeah. It's a bit like having, you know, your Christmas list, you know, the things that you wish for, but sometimes, you know, it doesn't always necessarily happen. Yes, no, being a business owner for a long time, a small business owner, I understand that, but also with regard to, I worked in the corporate field for many years. So I was at the high end of corporate in the IT sector. So I understand with regard to the wishes that departments may want, but the reality of finding the resources to fund those wishes. So, you know, being able to look at both what the city, beg your pardon, what the city will have as funds to progress and move forward versus what assets they would have. So sometimes we may need to consider looking at the assets of the city and then maybe having to make the decision as to whether to increase those assets or release those assets to help funding for critical and critical things that the city may need, or to grow the infrastructure. So I'm fairly across with regard to understanding the financial management capability.
All right, that's good news. What about current involvement with council?
My current involvement with the council is that I'm presently a member of the Dunsborough Reference Group, the DRG. So we meet every 2 weeks approximately. So with regards to development growth for the Dunsborough area, we have a good relationship in communication with the city. But directly as an individual to the council, no direct involvement, although I have attended some council meetings which have been very educational.
Right, fantastic. So you're currently providing input into the decisions that the council might make.
Yes.
All right, fantastic. And what about your relationship building capability?
I feel that be very strong. My history of that would have been that in the corporate world where I started, developing a relationship with new clients, holding relationships with existing clients. Grew stronger and stronger as I migrated through the world of corporate, to the point that I progressed within a company called Dell Computers. And I moved from personal sales into government sales. So as the public sector representative in Dell, my clients would have included 10 Downing Street, House of Lords, House of Commons. So it was very, very good grounds for me to understand relationship building in the corporate world in those days. I finally left the corporate world because the smell of fresh cut grass was just too overpowering for me. So I migrated into the landscaping business, and then found myself in the emergency response sector within the mining sector. So to build relationships means that you had all levels of management and people to manage. So being a medic, you come across every single instance that you could probably come across, and it was extremely good grounds for relationship building within those environments.
Sounds like you've got a good rounding there. You've got dealing with corporate clients, so that sort of aligns with the businesses within the council.
Yes.
The government area, you worked there for a while, so
yes.
Council has advocacy roles with other government departments and that sort of thing. And then on the medic side, that's a very personal side of things where people are
Indeed.
often in a vulnerable state. So that sort of aligns with people who are in the community and experiencing issues and maybe don't know how to actually go about or word or express the real dilemma that they're going through. So there's a good range of experience there.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to be, strong and straight through. With regard to that, it might mean that in response to being in the emergency response and medical side of things, that you have to get to the scene of the incident, and it's all very much technical. And then, so you have that ability that you have to lead. You have to be you're the leader of the team. You have to ensure that all the equipment is up and running and ready. But then when you get to the scene, you might have the most vulnerable situation that you've ever come across, and you have to have the ability to be able to go from directing people very clinically to do the things that need to be done for the emergency. But at the same time, you may have to then be down close to someone that needs a completely different approach. And it's to be able to balance that is something that it's a lot of learning. It's something that I hold true to.
Right, that sounds like it could be very valuable in the councillor role. Shall we move on to the next?
Indeed.
Okay. So for this question, for the given scenarios, I've got 4 scenarios there.
Okay.
What do you see as the council's role and what drives your voting position? So the first one we're looking at there is where there's a newly proposed high-density development impacting on the amenity for residents in an existing lower-density estate. So this would be a high-density housing development, for example.
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. With regard to the city at the moment, we presently have an example of that within Dunsborough. It's not high density, but it's going to have a strong impact and effect on our community. Presently, it's a proposed development in an area called Lot 6. For those that may or may not be familiar, but if you've ever driven down Commonage Road and you've gone for an ice cream in Simo's,
Yes.
I was just thinking of an ice cream, and I could drop into Garth and have an ice cream. There's an area there called Lot 6, but it doesn't comply with a very important state planning policy called the SPP 6.1. So with regard to that, I don't support it at the moment.
Okay, so there's a plan in place, and
yes,
I'll call them a developer, is wanting to or put something in that doesn't align with the plan.
Doesn't align with the state planning policy.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is the SPP 6.1.
Right. Okay, so you've got a very clear line there with, okay, there's doesn't align, so that's,
unfortunately not. Yeah.
Okay.
But it is going to cancel next week, and the present council will be voting on it.
Right.
Next Wednesday.
There you go. So that's one of the things that comes up as a councillor that you have to deal with, and sounds like you've done some homework around where it sits in the scheme of things. So
yes, the DRG have been many years. We've been discussing this.
Okay, or many years even. There you go.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's up for a vote. So
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we got told last week that it was on this Friday's agenda, which would mean it's moving forward to vote on the next council meeting.
On the next meeting, right.
Yeah. So we'll patiently wait, and we'll all be tuning in.
And see what the outcome is, yes.
Indeed.
All right. So the next thing is, how do you deal with an issue like restricting dog access to parks and beaches? So that's definitely a hot topic for City of Busselton at the moment.
Yeah, and my puppy behind me, who's normally always wants to get in front of the screen, with regards to the proposed changes that are up at the moment. I mean, I don't support the new proposed changes. Our dog loves the beach. When the weather gets a bit warmer, we might even be going for swims, and that's one of our favorite things to do, is to follow us around the water. So yeah, I don't support the proposed changes, and fully behind the community on not allowing those proposed changes to go through.
So you say fully with the community. Then what are you seeing in the community?
Well, there was a lot of confusion over the proposed changes that came out. I mean, even to myself, but the restrictions that they were proposing to put through was it's just not in the interest of the community.
Okay, fantastic. We'll move on to a situation where there might be several local businesses applying to extend sidewalk dining access.
That's a very interesting one, and myself and my wife and our family, like, I mean, if we're going out and to decide that we want to eat out or socialize out, I mean, to be able to see people that are frequenting a restaurant, and if they're sitting outside, we love to sit outside. But again, it would be based on a case-by-case basis as to whether it impacts any pedestrians or any other businesses. But I'm fully behind local businesses wanting to extend, especially in the hospitality side, if it fits within the policy with regard to what you can do on the sidewalk or the pavement. Yeah, I'd support businesses to put their case forward.
All right, fantastic. And okay, if you have a sporting group that leases council-owned facilities and they apply for funding from the council to expand their kitchen and dining facilities to a commercial grade?
That's a very interesting question. It would depend on the motivation for the application. And would it fit within the regulations? That there are specific regulations for sporting facilities. And I suppose the concern would be, if there was a concern from the community, is that if they were to be considering to leasing it out outside the sporting hours, would that be good or bad? So there's probably a number of questions to be asked of the sporting group that were to consider hypothetical if they were to be looking to upgrade to commercial. So it's based on the motivation behind it and what outcome that they perceive that they would need. Like some sporting facilities may need to upgrade their kitchens to commercial because they might have fundraising, they might have quiz nights, they might have presentation nights that require people to come and be part of it rather than just walk through the door and there's your trophy, thanks very much, goodbye. That they get to come in and enjoy and mingle and be together as a community, and therefore to be able to offer facilities to engage those community gatherings around the sporting would be very beneficial.
Fantastic. Excuse me. We'll move on to the next one then, if you're comfortable.
Just move my chair around and get a bit more comfortable. Yeah, all good.
Excuse me. So for this question, we're taking the view that the council seeks to increase economic activity within its borders. How do you propose for the council to facilitate the growth? Now, if you need funding to do this, that's a separate question. But at the moment, how do you propose for the council to facilitate economic growth within the borders of the council?
Well, that's a very good question. Technically, I feel that the council doesn't have can't drive economic growth itself, but that they can support local businesses to increase the economic growth within the city and within the area that the city covers. If the council were, so the funding side is a separate question, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So it's to support local businesses and to probably look to seek support from the government, as in the Western Australia government, if they are to put forward proposals to increase economic activity, which is really down to local small businesses and medium and large businesses that are within the city.
So what sort of things can the council do? Like what you're suggesting there really seems to be between the business and the state government rather than with the council. What sort of things might the council be able to do?
Well, the council can be a lending ear to local businesses that are looking to expand and looking for direction. And if there's any support that the council can give to businesses or businesses that are looking to enter into the area, as to, are they businesses that will benefit the community? Are they businesses that will benefit the city? and support them in whatever way possible, both in terms of directing them, or if they wish to bring it up through council meeting, or if they want the support of both the council and the staff from the city.
Okay, let's have a look at these couple of items here. So, what characteristics of the council do you see can contribute to that, to building the economic
Growth.
I've forgotten the word.
That's okay. Growth.
Yes.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that one just slipped my mind. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah. I'm due another coffee, and I'll be able to concentrate as well. I think that with regard to the characteristics, I mean, the council, we should be looking at the infrastructure for transport. I mean, public transport. Like, there's no public transport on a Sunday for the youth to be able to move, we say, between Dunsborough and Busselton. So that has a knock-on effect to the economic growth. There's no public transport that I'm aware of to facilitate our visitors that come through the airport. So, it'd be phenomenal if we were able to move forward to encourage and increase public transport for the city. Even for those that need to commute from the small suburbs within the areas of the housing areas, like, I mean, for instance, within Dunsborough Lakes, for people who want to go in to enjoy Dunsborough itself, there's no public transport, no shuttle service. So if you live at the back end of the lakes, how do you walk, you cycle? You can't take the leisurely approach of being able to jump on a bus and get transported into the town centre. So these are considerations that I think the council should consider for the future, which will then have a benefit to economic growth.
So that's providing an underlying service that lifts everything. Yeah.
So that people can, without fear of, that they want to, say for instance, they want to go into the local restaurant and enjoy an evening. They don't have to worry about whether or not that they're doing anything incorrect with regard to then maybe potentially driving a car. So that they have the facility, they can, the public transport can bring them into a central area. They can then walk around either the city of Busselton or the beautiful parts of Dunsborough or Vass, and enjoy the facilities, and then to be able to be commuted back home. And also for youth who wouldn't have any other way, with families growing and working, they may not have the option to avail of transport.
Excellent. And I think you answered the one at the bottom there about where does the economic growth come from when you're talking about the businesses, really, and
yes,
potentially those that underlying public transport framework that you talk about.
Well, the growth for economics growth comes from businesses growing to be able to provide services. And if businesses can grow to provide services, our tourists will benefit from that, and they will then increase the economic growth. Agriculture as well. If the facilities are available for agriculture to be able to do the due processing for their produce, the viticulture industry, so to be able to support those, to ensure that we do it in a way that fits in line with the legislative processes, and ensure that we have the correct staffing numbers within the city for the staff, that that we're being effective and efficient to be able to support economic growth, but also to support the requirements of the residents. So to ensure that we do it in a effective and efficient manner, because that then reflects upon, as you said, with regard to the budgeting for the city, so that with regard to all our expenditures out, all the payroll side of it, and then we could look at with regard to the assets that the city hold, with regard to what we have to, as a city, expend to keep the city in the position it's in, but to grow the city at the same time. So we might have to consider purchasing of assets, be they fixed assets or mobile asset, or releasing assets to help with the funding. So I would be more in favor of no borrowing, but to basically ensure that we are self-funded from within, that we're doing it in the correct manner, and that we wholesomely look at what we have versus what we need, and ensure that what we have is managed and correctly and is efficient and effective for the growths that are going to come through. And effectively, so there.
Yes, you talked a little bit there, with things that get covered with this. How do you propose to raise or increase council funding to implement your proposed economic growth? Well, you've talked there about controlling your budget and buying and selling assets in order to fund things depending on where you are in the cycle. So
and I understand it was mentioned at a recent meeting that 3 new staff equate to a potential of 1% increase in rates. So we also need to be mindful that as the city grows, we do require the staff to manage the growth and everything that exists as it stands at the moment, but that it's managed in an effective manner and an efficient manner. And if we need to grow the city, we need to look at the assets of the city and to work out whether or not those assets are negatively impacting the city or positively impacting the city, and as to whether or not we need to grow the assets or whether or not we need to release assets to support the proposed economic growth. But we also need to be mindful that the residents would not be happy with consistent rate increases. So we need to balance that to keep the residents like myself, without just all of a sudden getting hit with a rate increase, which took a lot of us by surprise. Like I previously said, are we doing it in an efficient and effective manner?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fascinating, interesting, and something that needs to be researched further for both myself and possibly other candidates too. That it's a very academic side of the council, and there are very qualified people that fully understand the accounting side of a city, and it's to be able to sit down and ask them the questions and try to understand the answers, and then to be able to make any decisions that come before council based on what you've researched.
All right. Yes, it's definitely an interesting field to work in. Righto. So let's have a look. We might just move on to the next area. So here I'm seeking your position on five different questions.
Okay.
So we don't need to discuss in depth the ins and outs of each of these. What we're looking for is it something that you support or something that you don't support, or there are conditions on whether you support one or the other, or
Okay.
Okay. So
do my best.
The first one of these is drag queen story time in our libraries.
It's a very interesting question. There's a very fine line between education and entertainment. Stories can be read by anyone eloquently, without the need for a persona. I presume that's where I will leave my answer.
Okay, no problem. What about welcome to or acknowledgement of country?
Yes, I support.
Okay. Biasing council purchases towards local businesses.
That's a very interesting question. We talked a little bit about that earlier. It would be interesting to research the policy that the city has with regard to tenders and their stance on purchases from local businesses, or any business for that matter, to ensure that there's full transparency on how they purchase and how they allot tenders. I'm fully in support of local businesses, local businesses that would deal directly with the council, or local businesses that deal directly with the general public and the local community, or they export to both national and international markets. So down here we have quite a range of those businesses, local, both small, medium, and large. That part of the business would be dealing with the city, and with regard to, by all means, supporting local businesses. But once they present their business case in line with the city policies, is extremely important, and also to reach out to those businesses and support them promoting towards the city, to ensure that they understand the policy, and we can grow with them.
All right, fantastic. That is a very wide-ranging answer there. That's excellent. What about the Shire buying, selling land property within the council?
With regard to that, as I mentioned before, the council should would and should be aware of the city's assets, and with regard to decisions from the council to buy, sell, or lease properties within the Shire, it should be on a case-by-case basis, and if it's in line with positive outcome for the city and for the residents of all the areas of the city that are covered, should be done on a case-by-case basis with regard to decisions for buying, selling, and leasing properties.
All right, fantastic. And the last one of these, when the evidence presented is not the full story.
That's a very good question. As a councillor, you should have the ability to be able to be across all agendas. So anything that's presented through the council should be put forward on an agenda prior. And if something were to raise a red flag, sometimes you get that niggle in the back of your neck when you're listening to a proposal and it doesn't. Potentially, hypothetically, it wouldn't sit right. One would think that a councillor should, or if it was myself, I would quite be very strong that I would not be afraid to speak up and ask the question, so that if there's further information to be provided, that it's provided, and that there's full transparency on it. And if it's a case of that something were not to sit right as it's presented, to reach out to the staff or area of expertise for that presentation, to ask for more, to ask the questions. And if it's a case of, well, the first question didn't quite sit, may I ask another one and another one? And then if it's a case of that I felt that I fully understood the presentation and that it doesn't raise the hackles on the back of my neck any further, that with hand on heart, I would be able to then give deliberation on the subject at hand.
Excellent. All right, well done. Stephen, that's all I've got in the way of questions. Is there any more that you'd like to tell potential electors about you or your campaign?
I'm always open to conversation. I'm only a phone call away. My details are on the ballot details. Engage me on social media. I'm seeing that this social media seems to be a very open platform for people to be positive or negative, and ask the question to me as to, how I will support the City of Busselton and its suburbs, from the smallest area to the rural, to be there for those that don't feel that they have a voice. If they want to ask me to be the voice, a conduit for their voice, by all means, I will do my best for that. And to make people that when they come to the council meetings, that they feel comfortable that they can put across their point of view. Must be very nerve-wracking to, when you've never done it, and you get called up and you sit in those two chairs in front of the mic, and you have the council in a horseshoe shape around you, and you're presenting your thoughts and concerns, and I mean that's a nerve-wracking moment for a lot of people. So it's to support them through that time, that 5 minutes I think they're given, and to respond back accordingly if they have concerns that cannot be answered at that particular time.
Sounds like a very fair way of helping people through the process of presenting the council.
Yes, I think, yeah. It's daunting, but yes, to also, and there's probably, I get the feeling that there's probably a lot of concerns that the people that live in this most beautiful part of the world that have not yet raised themselves up because they're not too sure whether they would get support in their thoughts, or that the things that stir the heart. But by all means, reach out and ask. The councillors or potential councillors should always be there for the residents of the entire City of Busselton, and to be able to understand that there's going to be both positive and negative, but not to take sides, but to be able to garner the information from both sides and deliberate on that and make the most fair answer.
Excellent. All right. Is there any more you'd like to present?
Beg your pardon? Sorry.
Is there any more that you would like to
No,
present?
no, no. I could keep you here for hours, you know. I mean, us Irish sometimes, you know. And if there's a rugby match on, it's even would take even longer. And what a joyous match the South African versus the New Zealand All Blacks yesterday was. I'm still shaking from the result. It was a truly unbelievable match. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there for a second. It just still stirs my heart to you know. Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I'll just cover off on a few of the administrative type things. So I'd ask our viewers to share the Forrest.Chat stream, SoapBox links for people, and wanted to let you know that you can get emails about Forrest.Chat/SoapBox into your inbox. You do need to sign up. Just go to that Forrest.Chat/SoapBox. If you are on Facebook, it would be very much appreciated if you could, when you include a comment, then also include an @highlight within the comment. That really helps with getting the show spread out a bit further. And also, if you could like the Facebook page, that will help with getting the word out and streaming to that page directly. You can watch my transparency statement. The links that are in the description of this video will take you to a place where that introduction video that I mentioned is actually available. And you can either watch it or read the description or transcript that is on each platform. The description is the transcript of the show. Forrest.Chat/SoapBox does take a bit of running, and I'm looking to raise a little bit of money to help move this along. And I'm looking to do more streaming, and I've got a couple of options there that will provide streaming either with or without a call-in capability. So if you would like to donate, then if you could on PayPal send that to hello@forrest.chat, or just get in touch with me at hello@forrest.chat, and we can work out a different method of helping you donate. When you look at my transparency statement, you'll note that I don't accept any donations with conditions attached. Thank you very much, Stephen. It's been wonderful catching up and hearing about your tilt at being a councillor for the City of Busselton.
Very kind of you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to address a wide range of phenomenal questions, and thank you for your patience in letting me answer them as best I could, and really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Those questions are all based around what I've found to be the role of councils and councillors. So very much appreciate having you on the show, Stephen. Thank you.
Very kind. Thank you again.